Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. I watched this DVD this week, get it in the light, Divergent. It's obviously a movie, it came out this year and has done the rounds of the cinemas, but I didn't get to see it then, but I saw it on DVD. Very, very symbolic movie, which I'll talk about later. But the key thing is Divergent, being a divergent. In other words, having another way of looking at the world, another way of looking at world events. Because the whole kind of theme of Divergent is that the population was broken up into certain sections, which were basically perceptions of the world. And you had to pick one of these perceptions, in effect. And what they were terrified of were people who had the ability to have multiple perceptions, in the way I'm describing it. And they were called divergent. In other words, they had the ability to think across the spectrum rather than what we would call in the box, in the bubble. And it's no accident that throughout human history, those in authority have been terrified of what this movie calls the divergent people. Those who have the ability to free think, to take in information, experience, things they see, and reach their own conclusions on them, rather than being told what to think by, in the modern world, politicians or the media telling them what they're seeing means. You know, it's fascinating to watch studies where you have a set of pictures and you put a voiceover on it. And what the voiceover is basically telling you is what you're looking at. It's telling you what the pictures mean and what the pictures are in terms of their relevance. But if you put another voiceover on the same pictures, suddenly the pictures look very different. It's much underestimated, this process, this programming process of putting up pictures and then the voiceover telling the viewer what the pictures mean. What a divergent mind does is decide what those pictures mean in its own unique view, not the herd view of being told what to think. And one of the examples of divergent thinking, divergent perception, is the massively important and fundamental mass mind control technique that I called many years ago now problem reaction solution. Create the problem covertly, blame it on someone else, present a cover story for why it happened and who was responsible. And after creating the problem, you then tell the public what you want them to believe about the problem so that they will reaction in the way that you want. Fear, outrage, something must be done, what are they going to do about it, all these things. And then they can move to stage 3, which is the solution. Those who've covertly created the problem, got the public reaction, do something, fear, all the rest of it, then offer openly the solutions to the problems they've created. So, you look at 9/11. A non-divergent mind would look at that and believe the official story, even though hardly one strand of the official story can be true when connected with other strands of the official story. If that's true, that can't be true. If that's true, that can't be true, and so on. But the non-divergent mind just takes that information from the authorities, and this is, of course, the mentality that dominates globally the mainstream media. What a nightmare situation is that is when a non-divergent mind is actually the middle man and woman between what the authorities are telling you and what the people are hearing. So this non-divergent mind is how the manufactured cover story becomes accepted truth and accepted history, official history, Hollywood history, all of it. But the divergent mind looks at the same information and says, well, hold on a second. I'm going to decide what I make of this. I'm not going to be told what to make of this. And when you do that, you start to see that the official story of 9/11 is a tissue of lies from start to finish. And it was a what they call an inside job to create the massive problem, the massive outrage and fear and anxiety that led to the solution, which was uh, vastly increased surveillance at home in countries like the United States and Europe and Australia and New Zealand, etc. And the justification of overseas wars of mass murder and acquisition to fight the terrorists that were behind 9/11. Well, to fight the terrorists that were behind 9/11, you didn't really have to leave the borders of the United States when you look at the truth. If you've got a divergent mind,